Alright, so we're at the next part here. I'm going to be rotating this cabinet around so we can go ahead and start working on the front of it. Now, when it comes to DDR solos, I probably mentioned it in probably like the first week of me working on it, but holy shit, it is really front heavy. So, like, you barely have to like push it towards you, and then the whole cabinet basically wants to fall on top of you. So you have to be super careful when you're moving it. It also brings me to another point of another part I am missing, which is the kickstand for DDR Solo. Basically, it's this front pyramid thing that kind of like adds like an extra lip to the cabinet to prevent it from tipping over. I don't have that part, so that makes it a little bit more scary, like trying to play it and making sure, you know, it's secure. But it is what it is. We're going to go ahead and obviously still continue working on it. I can probably get one of those fabricated, and also I think once the game is on its leg levelers, I don't think it's going to be too much of an impact in the first place, especially with this not being in a public environment. But I'm going to go ahead, start getting this moved around, and we'll go ahead and continue busting our butt cleaning it. So stay tuned. Alright. It's the scary part. It's also thunderstorming outside, which is making this a little bit more ominous when it comes to moving it. So let's go ahead and back this baby up. And I don't have to worry about the garage door. It does fit under it, but it is still not a fun thing to move and rotate. So let's go ahead, get this guy turned. There's a little bit of a gap in the pavement we need to go over. You see how like it already wanted to tip over? That's what I'm talking about. So I also think one of the legs is messed up on this, which we'll have to figure out at some point. I'm pretty sure it's this front right leg. It's either still down or it's damaged. It's one of the two. But let's push this to the back here. Okay, cool. Alright, so now we got front facing, so now we can work on the front of it. And I'll show you some of the things I noticed and some stuff that I want to work on here, but let's go ahead and probably put down the legs on the front of it to make sure, one, that the game doesn't tip over while working on it, and two, see if the front right leg is messed up too. So let's go ahead and get that done, and then I'll go over the whole cabinet here. Alrighty, so I got the cabinet completely moved around, and I put the two front legs down. So I guess we'll start at the bottom here, kind of go through everything that I've noticed. So first of all, you can see I don't even know if it's like vinyl. It really isn't. I'm not sure what this material is. It's like a matte material, I guess. It's on the cabinet that is kind of it looks like black paints essentially, but it's like an actual like material that they put around the cabinet and wrap it. That is coming off in pieces here. So thankfully it's all still here. It's just been damaged. Typically, you wouldn't be able to see it anyways because the kick plate would be in the way. So I don't know what I'm going to do with that quite yet. If I find a kick plate, that really won't be an issue because you can't see it. But chances are I'm not going to find one. I would have to get one fabricated. We'll see about that. But I think what I'm going to end up doing, honestly, is either trying to glue that back into place or putting gaffer's tape on the bottom. Just all the way down across here just so it looks a little seamless, and we'll probably end up calling it a day right there. I did put down the leg levelers, and both leg levelers are fine. I think that this wheel over here is damaged though, because if you roll it in a certain direction, the leg gets stuck. And I thought it was the leg leveler, but I guess it's the wheel is getting caught on itself and it's not able to turn. So if you lift that corner up, like, it's not really an issue, so we're just going to probably ignore that problem. Moving on up, we have to clean off some of this metal, so we'll probably have to get like a metal cleaner. It might be hard to see in this light, but it is rusted. I'm getting a little bit of a better view on it, but yeah, we gotta clean a bunch of the metal off down here. This coin door has some rust on it. We'll see if we can get the rust removed somehow. You can actually take off this entire metal like frame for this coin door. So I might end up actually doing that because it's kind of hard to find like the whole replacement unit, because this is I believe metric and imperial cabinets are different. So I can't just like go to Caesar Hap and buy a coin door and put it on here. I don't think it works like that. I could be wrong, but moving on. So also I guess here we're gonna have to draw out this lock. It's been locked for years at this point, I'm sure. I don't think there's anything in there. I can kind of see a little bit in the back into that area, and I don't see anything, so don't get your hopes up. This marquee, this is the marquee of the dance game. I am going to replace these screws. These screws are disgusting. They're not supposed to be brown. They are rusted as shit. There is, how many? 8, it looks like. 8 screws. Yeah, and then the front of this is just really dirty, so we'll probably remove it and try and clean it off. So, moving up. Same thing here. We're going to remove all these screws. I think these are M6 screws all the way across. Remove all those. Get those replaced. Clean up the metal sides of the cabinet here on both sides. Get that taken care of. Moving up here. I don't think there's lights in here. It doesn't look like it, so we'll have to take this off, put new lights in there. These screws need to be replaced also. They're super rusted. This neon needs to be taken out. We need to put in the replacement LED version of the neon, and we'll do the same thing on this side. This side over here is missing black T molding. You can see this side, it has something that's missing compared to this side. This side has some of it, but it goes up and it's missing right about here. So let's replace 2 sections of black T molding. Maybe I'll make it chrome, just so it kind of matches the outside aesthetic of the cabinet on both sides and the inner part here. But we'll see about that. I think it would look better though, honestly. Other than that, that's kind of it. There's not a ton of work to do on the front necessarily, but it's going to be kind of involved with cleaning for the most part. And I need to try to get this glass off very carefully and try to get this monitor out from behind it so we can do some work on it. But I'm probably going to wait to do that because I'm talking with some guy that's local to me who has spare monitors for arcade machines. He says he has a tri-sync, but he doesn't know if it works. So he's gonna check on that for me. If he does, then he says that he'll only charge me $100 for it once he tests it. So I might just go ahead and get a replacement and throw this one away. I don't know yet, but we're keeping the CRT in there. Like, it has to be a CRT. But a tri-sync would be great. So that's kind of where we're at with this project. And then at some point, we're going to have to get to the back of this section here and wire everything up. I also have to answer a question for myself at some point, but to be able to do that, I need to get the 573 working. I need to know what signal is used to turn on these neons. If it's 5 volts, then I probably don't have to do anything with relays, but if it's not 5 volts and something really low like 3, then I will probably need to wire in a relay, and we will be able to run 5 volts to the upper section so we can power those pink LED strips that I bought. But yeah, so that's the next section here, so stay tuned. It's going to be a lot of fun breaking this apart and drilling out locks and all that fun stuff. So without further ado, let's get to it. Alright guys, jumping upstairs, I finally tested out that DDR Solo board, and as you can see on screen here, it'll pop up in a second, this drive is going to show as bad. So we'll wait for it to show up in a second here, but figured I'd test it now since I was already working on the inside of this cabinet, trying to install Hyper Bishibashi. So there you go, hardware reset, which is kind of funny because yeah, you see that 573 in there. You see this cat. She ran away. She don't want none of this business. But this 573 has a bad disk drive, and this 573 has a bad disk drive, and now the DDR Solo also has a bad disk drive. So like I'm just cursed with 573s to have bad disk drives, which is kind of funny. But obviously we're going to get this one repaired. One of these is that spare I was talking about, which is this one right here. It's running a bootleg 7th mix on it, and you can tell because if you look at this label, you can actually see the DDR Max sticker behind it, which is a common bootlegging thing back in like the early 2000s. So, but yeah, that was a unfortunate discovery, but I have a list of compatible disk drives, so we will go ahead and get that replaced in a second here. Well, it won't be a second. It'll be a second for you guys, but it'll be probably a week or two for me. But we will definitely need to make sure that happens here shortly. So, very unfortunate, but it is what it is. Bad disk drive. Could be worse. You could have bad flash, which would be any of these numbers and letters showing as bad, but they all show up okay, thankfully. So, we'll take it. But update here soon. Alright guys, so we're going to go ahead and drill out the lock that is on this machine. If you've never drilled out an arcade lock before, I'm going to give you a few tips before we get started. This lock, I'm actually quite fortunate because it's using a special barrel, and I can literally just plug the barrel with my drill bit and it's going to go straight through. If you do not have a lock like that, which is much more common, usually they're barrel locks or just like a regular keyway, you want to try to put your drill bit as center as possible, because when you drill through it, you want to go all the way through the entire lock canister till you get to the end. And when you get to the end, you're going to punch all the way through and it's going to pop off the nut holding the cam. So you need to have a pretty big drill bit, but if you don't have a lock like this where it's going to be really easy to drill through, you might have to start with a really small bit and work your way up. But I'm pretty confident we'll be able to get in with just this one bit, so we shall see. So it's going to be really loud. I'll probably play music or something over this process or just speed it up, so you guys don't have to worry about having to listen to it continuously, but here we go. Wow, that shit is really in there. Whew. Yeah, you might have to take several breaks in the middle of this process because you're obviously drilling straight through steel or metal. So I might experiment a little bit with different bits as well, but I am making progress. It's just very, very slow progress. This is a really like high-grade lock that they used on mine, so it's going to take a little bit to drill through it. Alright, there we go. Whew. Alright, so now we got it drilled open. There we go. That bit is going to be super hot, so let me try to grab this. There you go. You can see that's what you want to make pop off. You can see we drilled through the nut and then it just dropped off. So there you go.